Hi, I'm John from Just Whiskey, and this is Henry. This is Henry the cat. Want to say hi, Henry? Hi. All right, I want to put you. He's going to stay right down here beside me. Um, I'm John from Just Whiskey. If you like Henry, if you like today's show, give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and consider becoming a Patreon with the link in the description below. And thanks for the few Patreons that I do have that help support this channel. Much appreciated. And as a Patreon, you have access to exclusive reviews, which I do about 1 or 2 a month. And remember, folks, it's just whiskey. Today, we are going to be talking about and reviewing the much anticipated Glenallachie release, Meikle Toir, the Turbo, heavily peated. There's a lot to talk about this. In a few short words, a friend of mine, I've been having a dram out of this, a dram or two every night for the past several days, over a week. And a friend of mine, when we first did the neck pour on this, he had a smile on his face and he said, "This is fun," meaning describing this Turbo as a fun dram. And it is. It's something that you can dissect. It's unique, it's intense, and it's not for everybody, and it's not for the faint of heart. And this is one of the most unique offerings, drams that I've ever had. So this review is going to be interesting. We have a lot to cover. It's 5 years old, and it's 50% ABV, and they're calling this the 2023 edition. So they've released 3 other offerings together. It's they call the original, the sherry, and the chinkapan. And the Turbo is gaining a lot of attention because it's the most limited release. In the United States, my understanding, they only released 600 bottles of this in the entire United States. And the cask makeup for this is 3 American virgin oak barrels and 6 Oloroso sherry hogsheads, 5 Oloroso hogsheads. So a total of 3 American virgin oak and 5 Oloroso hogsheads. So I'm not the biggest fan of virgin oak, and so given that as a caveat right up front, there's massive virgin oak, cinnamon, oak spice in this, big time. And I'm going to we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive in this whole thing. So, no color added, non-chill filtered, and they're calling this 71 ppms. And they're telling us that they're capturing the heart of the heart from the distillate, okay, to expect an intense hit of peat smoke, okay. And while we're reading the bottle here, so they're nosing and tasting notes. They're nosing and they're calling it Manuka honey, worn leather. I definitely get the worn leather. Chocolate, toasted hazelnut, sultanas, and burnt orange peel. The taste, intense peat, honey, and mocha, followed by smoked spices, roasted chestnuts, and charred oak. Well, I get a lot more than that, which we're going to go into. And I'm going to read the blurb in the back because this is interesting too. I'm not going to read the whole box because there's a lot on here. So taking the heart of our distillate, the spirit cut, which contains the highest phenol content, the Turbo entails an amplified smoky identity. With a lengthy 160-hour fermentation period, the whiskey boasts full-bodied character which stands up well to the sweet smoke delivered by mainland peat from St. Fergus. The 2023 release is a combination of 3 American Virgin Oak casks, 5 Oloroso Hogsheads. Now, this is what's interesting. The result is a multifaceted whiskey with a powerful punch of peat hitting a hefty 71 ppm. It's probably presented without added coloring and non-chill filtered. So to me, that's leading to me to believe that 71 ppm might be measured post-distillate, okay? Which it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, this is a hefty, smoky, peaty dram. And as a caveat, just so I won't forget, every night this week that I've had this, I've had the craziest dreams, like every night, multiple intense dreams. I don't know if this has anything to do with it. Maybe it has some kind of medicinal effect, which wouldn't surprise me. Okay, so the retail price on this is reasonable. Okay, it's anywhere between $66 and $86 here in the United States. Okay, so they put a lot of effort into making this, and now we're going to kind of get on with my take of this whole thing. All right. So on the nose, heavy smoke, peat. It's medicinal peat. I'm getting the Band-Aid, the antiseptic, Listerine, vegetal, herbal, sour eggnog, nutmeg, worn leather, which I do agree with that nose and tasting note on here. Definitely worn leather. And it also, too, has a slight bit of a perfumey floral note to it. It also on the nose, it reminds me a little bit, this is kind of like going back in time, but if you walk into a woman's hair salon when they would have their hair get a permanent wave, or if they have, their hair colored or whatever, that smell from that, I'm not talking about acetone, because there's no acetone in here, but that hairdressing, hair salon, woman's chemical treatment, kind of a little bit of that in here as well. Okay, palate. That virgin oak is front and center with that massive, oaky, heavy spice, cinnamon. It's got a sweetness about it, but it's also very dry. But it starts off sweet and syrupy, and it transitions to a dryness. It's also got some like berry flavored cough drops, or in the UK I think you call them cough sweets. So like a berry flavored cough sweet is in there. Maybe a hint of peach, fresh cut hay, a little bit of Play-Doh. To kind of sum it up in a way, this reminds me a little bit, if you took it's got that Kilkerran heavily peated note to it, the early batches, particularly, well, I didn't have batch 1, 2, or 3, but batch 4, I didn't really connect with it, and I reviewed that and made reference to it a couple of times. But so the earlier Kilkerran heavily peated, if you took that and mixed it with Glenallachie Tale of Forest, with those botanical kind of herby kind of things in there, the Tale of Forest did have all that, but it was fruity. So this isn't really fruity. Well, it's not fruity. But if you took that, the Kilkerran heavily peated with Glenallachie Tale of a Forest, if you can, they're both unique kind of offerings. You might get kind of close. It's also got a little bit of that Ardbeg Barbecue in there, which was really an intense, unique Ardbeg offering. A little bit of that. Also, too, maybe a little bit of Indian whiskeys, like the Indri, En route, Paul John. There's a note in there that's kind of like I'm just going to describe it as a burnt brown sugar note. So I'm just giving you all, this is my experience with this to kind of probably confuse the hell out of whoever's watching this, because this is unique. So I'm trying to give it some perspective. The finish is long, dry, and then when you're all done, this is going to hang on your mouth and your throat and your breath for a long time. And it has that kind of, if you use mouthwash like Listerine, like a non-flavored, Listerine, let's just say, if you gargle with Listerine at the end of that, that's kind of what I'm kind of getting at the end. So yeah, this is unique, and I am going to score it, but this is one of the most challenging reviews. Some people, have been really raving about this, and it's interesting for the price. If you want to if any of what I said sounds intriguing, where you want to really dissect it or whatever, but it's not. This is not for everybody. So score-wise, I'm going to be for my I won't go out and buy another bottle of this. I think, I'm probably you can see the fill level here. I'm probably going to put this aside and in a few months probably revisit it or whatever. But that virgin oak is prominent in there. So score-wise, I'm going to kind of give a little bit of dichotomy about that. Is for my enjoyment, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. However, a score 8 out of 10 means something special. Okay, so this is something special, but I just don't find it also as something special. At 8 out of 10, it's assumed to be excellent. I think some people will find this as something special. It's unique. It's interesting. But for my enjoyment, a 6 out of 10. But if you want to throw some numbers around, I could probably settle on a 7, which is very good. I do appreciate the effort that went into this, but it's really, at this point, it's really not my jam. So I don't, again, when it comes out next year, I probably won't pick up a bottle of it. So the score is kind of convoluted, but I'm going to settle on it's good, a 6 out of 10. I think others are going to find this as an 8 out of 10, something special, or they might find it to be excellent. But that's my take on it. I hope you enjoyed my take on it, and if you did, give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and consider becoming a Patreon with the link in the description below. But don't go if you stuck around this long. The next review is going to be the Lagavulin Offerman 11-year-old Caribbean rum cask finish. That's going to be next week. That'll be my next review. And then I'm going to be doing a surprise blind after that, or maybe within the next couple of weeks, somewhere in between possibly with that. So remember, folks, it's just whiskey. Hats off to you all, and take care, folks.